Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Saturday show. I'm your host, Carl. As usual, we've got another day, another fantastic dose of the weekend football here this weekend. And come to, we'll talk more about the results of the past week in the Champions League of Man City conceded 3 goals in the last 3 minutes against Feyenoord of the weekend. Liverpool going strong as well. A howler from Carter Vickers for Celtic in light against Leipzig. And we'll also talk about all the other results in the championship this past week as well. And talk about some news about the sacking of Tim Volter as Horne manager. And we also will talk about the new manager coming in at Leicester City, that is Ruud van Nistelrooy. We'll come up shortly. We'll get the team news and do the predictions later on the show as well. Go to fair. Let's do some fixtures of this week's fixtures because of the FA Cups on this weekend. We have a bit of a smaller dose of the fixture round today. So a 3 o'clock kickoff today later on. Brentford at home to Leicester City. Ruud van Nistelrooy will not be in charge because he signed just before yesterday. So Ben Dawson will still will take charge of that today. Newcastle go down to Croydon to face Crystal Palace, while Ipswich Town go away to Nottingham Forest, who have Nottingham Forest started well. Wolves at home to Bournemouth, while West Ham against Arsenal in a 5:30 kickoff later on tonight. In the Championship, three league games are on. Well, 4 league games are playing a little bit early today. Managers Hull City go way up to Middlesbrough, while Oxford at home against Millwall. QPR going away to Watford, and it's a 1:30 kickoff between Blackburn, Leeds, and due for that reason was why it's 1:30. It's due to the train upgrade. The disruptions on the Transparent Line service from Leeds onwards. So that's what, please everyone get to the game early as you can today and make arrangements if you're going to Ewood Park today. In the 3 o'clock kickoff as well, we'll get to Bristol City at home to Plymouth Argyle, Cardiff City away to Coventry City, which is going to be Frank Lampard's first managerial start as Sky Blues manager. Norwich City against Luton Town, while Preston go at home to West Brom. Burnley go away to Stoke, and Swansea City at home to Portsmouth. And in the key fixtures in the FA Cup second round, Welsh the night fair kick-off at home in half an hour. Will play short against Wycombe Wanderers. Key games as well, interest games as well. That Brackley Town go away to Stockport, and Dagenham Red away at AC Wimbledon. And only 2 games in League Two today. Carlisle United against Crewe Alexandra, while Colchester go away to Fleetwood Town. And in the Scottish Premiership, we've got Celtic at home to Ross County. St Mirren go away up to Tayside to face Dundee United. Kilmarnock at home to Dundee, while Hibs go away to Motherwell later on today. In the La Liga, kick-off at 1 o'clock. Barcelona at home against Las Palmas, while Atletico Madrid away to Real Valladolid at 8 o'clock. In Serie A, we got AC Milan against Empoli, and Bologna against Venezia as well. And it's big games today in the Bundesliga with RB Leipzig against Wolfsburg and at half two, while Bayer Leverkusen go to Union Berlin. But the big game is at 5:30, the Klassiker between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich at half 5. PSG continued their unbeaten run of form. They faced Nantes at the 8 o'clock in the League Earn, while Feyenoord are home to Stuttgart later on today in Eredivisie. And we'll go into Sunday's kickoff, Sunday's games. What game between Aston Villa, Chelsea against Aston Villa later at half 1 tomorrow, while Man United play Everton in Ruben Amorim's first Premier League home game at Old Trafford, while Spurs at home in the local derby to Fulham, and it's a big game at 4 o'clock between Liverpool against Man City. We'll talk more about that shortly as well. And one game in the English Championship, Derby County at home to Sheffield Wednesday. And then in the FA Cup second round tomorrow, it is Kettering Town against Doncaster Rovers. Tamworth go away to Burton Albion. Harbour Town could they make a big huge shot playing away at Reading, and Bromley go away to Solihull Moors. And then in 2 games in the Scottish Premiership, St Johnstone at home to Rangers, and Hearts at home to unbeat Aberdeen. And also in the kickoff in La Liga as well, Real Madrid at home to Getafe in the local Madrid derby. And Athletic Club Bilbao away to Real Vallecano, and Real Sociedad against Real Betis. And in Serie A as well, the big games tomorrow night at 5 o'clock between Fiorentina against Inter and Lecce against Juventus. And only 2 games in the Bundesliga that Hoffenheim go away to Mainz and Heidenheim at home to Eintracht Frankfurt. and then huge games tomorrow at quarter to eight between Marseille versus Monaco. And in Monday's game, only two huge game, only one huge game. Roma at home to Atalanta on Monday night, and that we should know about the FA Cup third round draw as well. So thank you for that for all you to listen there. Let's go off and discuss about the big games this weekend, but we'll talk more about what's going on, what happened in the Champions League, which is what's happened with Pep Man City's team. They have become winners in over six games after a 3-3 draw against Feyenoord. The Man City took the lead in the lead as well. Just give me just as I was getting up the stats, the figures of this past week's games. Yeah, Man City had really good chances as well early in the game on Tuesday night. If you look at it, Erling Haaland scored in the 44th and a penalty in the 53rd minute, and Gundogan scored the 50th. But what a 15-minute comeback from Feyenoord after clumsy defence from Man City with Guardiola and Edison. Probably have to take the blame for it completely for what they did. I was most surprised how they did not react to that, pretty much react to fighters counter attacking, and fighter brought 5,000 fans to Etihad, and yeah, they might look to be cruising, but I'd say mistake from also go for Guardiola after and then Santiago Gimenez chesting the side in the 82 minute, and a little comeback by David Hancock pounced in the 89th minute, and Man City fans booed at full time. They're on it. They're winning the past six games, and it's ahead of against Liverpool tomorrow. I think it's a huge worry for Pep Guardiola going into how the form is going into the game, for Man City, and they were very careless, very very careless. Man City, they should have, really took the better chances, and they dominated the game with 64 possession rate to finalize face nearly 36, and like I said, they both had a good decent shot on targets, but yeah, but Feyenoord was more better on the counter attack, and yeah, really disappointing for Man City and Pep. You know, has come to he talked in yesterday in his press conference. He said they would not run away from the problems that Man City are going through at the moment as well. He's non-committal on the team news at the moment. We'll see of any injury players will return on Sunday. He has refused to really sign out the title race, but admitted make more life more difficult. It should they lose Liverpool. He did confirm about his about players' confidence issues. He made that yes, of course, I didn't know if confidence is the right word, but when the dynamics are good, it's always easier. You have to accept the situation that we are in the right to now. Numerous times throughout the news conference, he used the quote when describing the teacher. It's not about how he tries to fall back down, but how he tries to get back up. He said he will be back. I know that he doesn't know when. So yeah, it's a huge disappointment for consistency for Man City at the moment, it's going to be interesting how it goes tomorrow at 4 o'clock kickoff as well. Let's go into Liverpool's form, and listen, Liverpool have done well to start the season. Only lost one game, only conceded one in the Champions League, which is quite amazing as well. You know, but the disappointing news with Ibrahim Kanate is out with a knee injury. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. There's no confirmation, but he expressed his disappointment on social media. He was saying so frustrating to pick up the injury right at the end of the great game. And on Wednesday night, he said on Instagram, uh, "Now we start the recovery process, but over the process, I will come back and be the best I can be once again. Thank you for the amazing support and Phil." As well. And look at Arne Slot's what he said in the press conference as well this week as well. Listen, a good win before we go to it, a good win for Liverpool in the Champions League, beating Velvet 2-0. Karen Kelly is probably the best number two goalkeeper in the world right now. He made that save. He made that save in a penalty from we get from Mbappe as well. It's just so much where the differences with both team Man City and Liverpool consistency. I think Liverpool's got more better consistency, than Liverpool more better consistency than Man City at the moment. I think that's really good enough for the Reds to go into this game a bit of confident form as well. So yeah, and listen, you know, as I said, and it's not as has talked about the injuries. Uh, we know that Conor Bradley, who did a really had a really good game against Mbappe, what a tackle as well. He's been assessed also ahead of tomorrow's games as well. Um, we look at Trent Alexander is going to be fit enough to start against City tomorrow. And also, yeah, also looking at City's pro form, he did say in his press conference, I don't think anyone in the last 8 or 9 years ever said City home away is easy. The word never comes to my mind. Everyone is looking at the results, but if you analyse it, they're still a very good team. On Liverpool's injuries not being highlighted as much as competitors in general, they all talk about injuries if the results are not there. We do have some very important players injured, but if we players do well, then it's normal for not to be spoken about as much, and that's a fair point as well. On his side, to be more disciplined in the yellow card, avoid the yellow cards, we have to be aggressive, but always in a good way. We have to be a bit more calm with and without the ball. That was Aaron Slot said in his press conference yesterday as well. So we will see how that game goes so falls tomorrow. I have put my predictions in LITD prediction league yesterday, and also because of the midweek games are coming up as well, I will give my predictions for that as well too. But in the fact, the matter of the fact is, we do, these two Liverpool's one form against City is been tremendous. So it's gonna be, it's like I said, I think it could go really one way if those teams don't one of those teams don't start well. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that hopefully in the next 24 hours, 48 hours or so. Right. Let's go into some managerial business news. We have confirmed after earlier this week, I put in the post after Steve Cooper was sacked after being after 5 months in charge. Leicester have done the business quite quickly. They have brought in Ruud van Nistelrooy as the new manager until 2027, or June 2027, on a 3.5 year contract. Yes, after he completed 18 days, completed interim stint as Man United head team coach, and 5 days after the Fox Steve Cooper. You know, Leicester fans and players have seen and played with Van Nistelrooy after in his two first 4 games. Van Nistelrooy beat Leicester in 5-2 in the Carabao Cup win and a 3-0 victory in the Premier League as well. Also, this is huge news for Leicester. I think this is a big name, for Van Nistelrooy to come into a club like Leicester, who have been struggling since they've been promoted after getting promoted back for the Premier League as well. Good morning, Anthony. Yes, I am well. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a huge game, especially because of the kickoff time. We're playing at 1:30 due to the to travel disruptions on the Trans-Pennine line. So I hope we do well against Blackburn. I know for you guys later on today, you got a huge game later on today as well. I know your recent result this past week was not the best, but to get a draw, but to lose actually, I was just going to see as well. But at least you got Clipper at home today. But I say it was a bit disappointing, result for you at Watford, losing 1-0 at Watford. Well, Watford's home form has been good, so I hope you guys do well today as well. Hope you guys do well today. But going back to Van Nistelrooy's appointment, listen, what do we expect? I think we expected to look players to look a player is always looking for an edge. I think I read what Chris said in his fine view on the BBC Sport. I will share that in the description for you guys to go have a look and support him as well too. He's a good friend of mine. So what he does at Leicester Till I Die TV channel, So please have a thought at his channel. But but he looks like this is the right appointment. There was between him and Graham Potter and Darren Moyes. I think looking at his record, yeah, he's won the Dutch Cup and a Super Cup, finished second in the Eredivisie and won 30 out of 51 games with a 66 goal difference. It's going to be interesting what Van Nistelrooy comes, especially with perfection. But like I say, he does not take in charge after today's game. But this is, he's put his lot of emphasis on on youth. That's what he did at PSV before he left there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what he brings in as well. But we all know he could have been at Burnley at the start of the season. There was a lot of chance that it was going to happen before he went to Old Trafford under Eric Ten Hag. Scott Parker took the job, but I think, he's taking a route back to, we'll see what he can do. There's a lot of pressure on Leicester because if they go back down this season, the chances are they're going to be really heavily sanctioned by the EFL due to the financial situation with the financial fair play regulations. So I think there's Leicester. It's a big risk. It's a big risk for them to take on Van Nistelrooy. If they stay up, they don't have to go through the repercussions of the EFL. If they do, they're going to have a huge heavy fine, which means they'll be at least up to fines along with transfer embargoes that could affect their preparation if they do get relegated next season as well. But I think this is the right point for Leicester. Look, I think Graham Potter was the other manager in consideration. I think Potter's stock is been dreadfully declined since after the Chelsea job, and not even afforded to take other jobs abroad. He was linked with Ajax early last season. Uh, he wanted the England job before Thomas Tuchel took it. I think there's a lot of pressure completely regarding what Graham Potter is. But I think Van Nistelrooy coming in, he was close with the Coventry City job. That didn't happen, but we'll get into Coventry second. But I think this is going to be a good appointment, and I think if he can get some of the games of do well and get some good additions in the transfer window, I think they had a chance they could stay up, but but I think the Leicester ownership have got a lot of work to do, and I think they need to prove that to all of them, all to the fans that things need to change, especially when we come to managerial situations that things are not being right. Listen, it was a controversial selection to chose Steve Cooper due to his affiliation when he was at Nottingham Forest as the head as manager, and it was was it the first choice? Got 10 games out of the last opening 12 games, which is not good enough for Leicester. And I don't think they did done enough in the transfer market as well. When you let players like Harry Sutter go to Sheffield United and Tom Cannon to Stoke City, you question yourself thinking, yes, I know Tom Cannon is not being prolific, fair enough, but when Harry Sutter did have a lot of games under Enzo Maresca last season, he only played 3 games under Enzo completely, and there was we thought with Steve Cooper coming in, I thought it could have been a bit of a difference, to have Harry Sutter be part of that team, who's probably be their best defender. But like I said, he's gone to Sheffield United, done quite well, even though the red card last night in that 1-0 win against Sunderland, which we will talk more tomorrow with Michael, and hopefully Annie will be back on tomorrow night with the championship review. We'll talk more in depth with our clubs as well instead of today's games and yesterday's game. And I see from Michael, he was not very happy how Sunderland did take the chances they had good chances to win that game at Brown Lane last night. But we will talk more in depth about it tomorrow as well. Yeah, but it's interesting to see how these teams have been, at the bottom three, especially looking at where Leicester is at the moment, and Leicester really down only a point ahead, a point above the relegation. A better goal different. A point ahead of Wolves and Ipswich, who could either win today to put Leicester under pressure, as well, and could put Everton under pressure as well too in this weekend's games as well. So we will see over this weekend where how the bottom half of the table is. But yeah, interested to see as well if he does well. And going into the championship, two managers one incoming Frank Lampard has gone in as the new Coventry City manager. He signed the contract until I'll just get the details up again just to make sure. He's got he's a new head coach of Leicester City. He will be there until 2027 as well. That's part of the deal on a 2.5 year deal. This is a huge pressure for Frank Lampard. It's a make or break choice for him. I think he's in the same situation as Ray Rooney at Plymouth. This is the last chance saloon for him to prove if he's good enough to be a manager. You know, he did confirm he spoke about his appointment with the press conference early this week. He said certain people maybe think I don't need to work, I guess financially, but I wanted to get back in because I love what I'm doing. I love coaching players. I love working with players on the training ground. Yeah, he's taken a tough jump in 2 express, trying to get Coventry out of from the 17th, 2 points above the relegation. Also, stepping to the huge shoes of Mark Robbins, who became a club legend after the largest 7 years and a half years in charge as well. Yeah, But Lampard's got a lot to prove in this week as well. A lot to prove later on today against Cardiff City. So a huge game for them, and they have to really start getting points quickly in the board if they want to try to get to the top half of the table and maybe into the playoff. Because we know they'll be slow starters, Coventry, but it's been it was a shock to how they sat Matt Robbins as well, and we will keep a stay on Matt Robbins because he might not be out of a job for too long as well because earlier this week, the Hull City owner came out to defend Tim Volter's managerial future, said that he was not going to be sacked and then all that stuff. And then after losing to Sheffield Wednesday and 2-0, they have sacked Tim Walter. Listen, this was coming. It was coming for quite a while as well. Good morning, Chris. There you go. I am good. Thank you very much. Hope you're well too. I will just talk about your club, appointed Ruva Nistelrooy. I wanted to give I want to have your take. If you want to join me, I will send a link for you if you want to join in. Or if you want to just message him in the group, that is fine and perfectly well indeed. Yeah. Please give your response on the appointment of Ruva Nistelrooy and what's your take on it as well. Yeah, but going back to Tim Volter, listen, the owner Akun Inakali came out early in before the game that he was not going to sack the 49-year regardless of the result. But he decided after 24 hours after losing to Sheffield Wednesday at home 2-0, they have decided to really to put the pressure in as well, to sack him as well. But listen, this is what I said the other week. They should not replace such Liam Rosenior, who's kind of done well up going abroad. Actually, for what I've been hearing, and it's just it's the way the way that how the situation is. It was controversial. It was very controversial how this scenario happened, and I think in a way the whole City fans should be frustrated at the ownership. The way yes, they missed out on the playoffs. I get that. I really do get that. But for the matter, the fact is, it should have not been. This is the way handled. Where the players have just not been good after losing Jacob Greaves at Ipswich, Jaden Falonga to Aston Villa. Fabio Carvalho going back as well. After a loan and as well. And their Tigers have failed to win any of the 6 games in the campaign in all competitions. But the run of form has been really bad since after they did have 3 wins before the 3 wins ended. So yeah, look, the ownership has to take responsibility for what Hull's pulled starting the campaign in Tuesday's after the campaign Tuesday interview. He blamed the recruitment, then blamed Volta. You know, listen, it's disappointing for a team like Hull as well. And Volta angered the fans after he questioned the lack of support after that one more draw against Pit Portsmouth at the start of the month. And yeah, and he tempted when he appeased them by suggesting that all fans were welcome to attend the training session. It did very little to help with those matters. There's been a communication problem as well. I think the style of play has not been good enough as well. I think Hull are in a relegation battle now. I think the problem is the way they alienate themselves completely with the management and the Baltimore. Would a Matt Roberts come into that club to steer them away from the relegations? That could be the beneficial thing. I think Matt Roberts could be a good fit, for someone like Hull City. I just feel like, would you go to someone like Luton as well? That's going to be another huge situation as well. Time is going to tell with Hull City if they get the managerial appointment right. If it's Mark Robbins, that's fine. If they go somewhere for a foreign manager, you question if can this get them out of the relegation battle? Because at the moment where they are, it's looking really bleak as well. So you are in Wales today. Yes, I know you are. And tell Mike Newpotter who are there. Yes, I know Mike was on here last week to join us. And Anthony very much really give some good banter to him ahead of last week's game against Newport as well. But looking at Hull City at the moment, they're in 22nd place and they're a point behind Cardiff City, who are above them in the relegation zone. Listen, it's a make or die situation for Hull City. Like I said, they need to get the wins if they want to stay up because we'll talk about the mid results shortly because we know that there's not much going on in the team news, no early team news today in the Premier League. There's no Launch kick off in the Premier League today, so hopefully we will see what can we do, what is going to be possible on the certain teams today in the Championship as well. Huge games as well too, but we'll talk about the results in the Championship early this week, the midweek games as well. Uh, One thing we could give a one quick brief on yesterday's game was Southampton getting a draw against Brighton with one more job. They should have had a goal. They should have had a goal allowed after Russell Martin said, was when Cameron Archer goal was ruled out after we chopped off when Anna Archer D2 offside. It took more than 4 minutes to check, do VAR check. With did Armstrong interference with play was questionable. The VAR ruled it out, and it was they got a draw as well. Listen, Brighton go to second, but like I said, Southampton could have deserved that win after. They should have had a better chance. They had the chance to win that game as well. But one more draw came from the Amex Stadium completely. So as well, we will talk more brief about this situation, but it was a big issue. It was a big issue for to let VAR to rule out that goal from Cameron Archer to hopefully to give Southampton to win their first game away from home this season as well, which is disappoint. Another win away from home, but a disappointment for them to get the draw. And there was a bit of a clash between Fabian Hertzlein and Russell Martin in after the game as well because of the controversial VAR decision as well. We should be having Chris from Leicester Die coming on shortly. He will give his perspective on Leicester's appointment with Van Nistelrooy and where did things go wrong. Briefly for for Steve Cooper completely. I think he said it what he said in his piece on the BBC Sport Leicester page. Find view on that because he did have to do a lot of changes after the sacking came after the Chelsea game last week. So there's a lot of we'll soon know more about that coming in shortly as well, too. So let's just go look at see some interesting news today. What we can talk about, and what we can talk about along as well. Good for you. Only one big game yesterday in the Friday FA Cup kickoff. Harrogate edge past their rivals Gainsborough to reach the third round. The third round in the FA Cup yesterday to knock out 70 Gainsborough. The Premier League was a lowest ranked team, was trying to continue their run, but Harrogate getting away from a good header from Dean Cornelius second half header to knock them out in it. So they go into the third round and they will know who they will play on Monday night as well. Which I probably might be doing probably do a live, might do a recorded or live broadcast of the FA Cup third round draw, see which big teams will get in the course of the action as well. But yeah, should have Chris coming on soon as well. Give you state. I have left Chris the link in the YouTube channel for him to join us to join me in the chat as well, too as well. So, but other than that, we can go discuss briefly the team news before Chris comes joins as well. We'll talk about his team, Leicester, go away to Brentford. We know that Ben Doss will be in charge as well. Fernando Bernate will be returned from suspension. Still no Harry Wicks. He's worried about a groin issue. While the long-term expertise with Abdul Fattah, Ricardo Pereira, and Jakob Stolzerat are all still outside line for the game as well. Leicester still unbeaten in 8 games against Brentford after this, since a 3-2 home defeat in the second tier in March 1953. Brentford have drawn 2 and lost 2 of the 4 away games against the Foxes. The only teams face more competition without winning is Newcastle, which they met 6 times as well. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, that prediction as well. Leicester have got a good home unbeaten record at against Brentford, which is not surprising as well. Crystal Palace against Newcastle. Mauricio Eze is available after being out with a hamstring injury. Eddie Nketiah also returns, but Dachi Kamada serves a second game of a 3-match suspension. Newcastle head coach Eddie Howe as well. And speaking of the devil, good morning to Chris. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, devil. How dare you, sir? How are you?
I am good, Pharaoh, and yourself, and at least you're well as well too. I know you've had a bit of a tumultuous week. Let's
Just to say the least, it has been typical Leicester. Is that it took so long to announce? The rumours are out there. everybody and the dog, Fabrizio, John Percy was saying it was a done thing, but Leicester weren't announcing it. Um, then this guy would announce it last night when everybody was in the middle of shows because of the time it was.
Yeah.
I've been absolutely knackered. I need an international break.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Yeah. Give your take on Ruud van Nistelrooy as becoming your new manager for Leicester. Was this the appointment that was needed,
Yeah,
especially at this critical time for the
yes,
club?
it was. And that was the thing. I was up at silly o'clock this morning because I had to go on Talk Sport Breakfast to talk about it, and I'd gone back to bed and fallen asleep. Um, but as I said to them, I'm as happy as a pig in poo. You know, when we got relegated, and you remember those days,
Yeah.
and the club was sort of like so down and miserable, and who were we going to get, and nobody thought it was going to be Enzo, but when it was, there was such a buzz about the place, which was what was needed at the time. Because, like I say, we were all so down with being, relegated. The buzz around the place was unbelievable. We never got that with Steve Cooper, and I've got to say, I mean, hindsight's wonderful. He was one of my three candidates that I wanted in because I thought he could possibly keep us up. Um, but there was no buzz, absolutely no buzz from the fans.
Mhm.
And but with Nistelrooy, that we've got that buzz that we had when Enzo came in. And even if he doesn't work out, and who knows, it's a risk. Any manager coming in is a risk. Enzo was a risk when we took him on; it nearly backfired. But at least if it goes, we feel like we've made the right appointment.
It certainly does. Actually, it certainly does. You made the right point. I know you were linked with David Moyes as well as
Yeah.
Graham Potter as well. But going back to Steve Cooper, did it just not have no flair of the game against Chelsea? The players just looked very confused when
Yeah.
they were 1-0 down to Chelsea early in the game.
In fairness to Steve Cooper, he was given he was given the hot potato, and he came into the club, a club where there was nobody to smooth the transition because then all the coaches, literally every single one was Enzo's. So they all went with him to Man City. So he came in, and there was nobody there to say, "Oh, he can't do that," or "Don't play him there. He's not." Like when Ranieri took over, he still had Craig Shakespeare, rest in peace, to sort of guide him, if you like. So he could just make a few tweaks. Cooper didn't have that, and the thing with Cooper was that he was a different style. So Enzo had just spent a whole season introducing the pep style, if you like,
Yeah.
to the players. They're just getting used to it, obviously, because it takes time. But they'd had a season doing it, and then Steve Cooper came in and said, "Actually, I'm not going to play that way. I'm going to play this way," which, as fans, we weren't overly concerned about because I don't think necessarily we may have stayed up if we'd played with the Enzo way, because we haven't got the players. Do you know what I mean? We'd got. He's gone to Chelsea. He's doing it at Chelsea. He's got a lot better quality of players at Chelsea, and good luck to him. But yeah, Cooper came in, and he didn't seem to know his best 11. Now, again, allow for the fact that when he came in, it's maybe going to take him a while. Jamie Vardy was injured all pre-season, so we couldn't see him. But 12 games in, he still didn't know his best 11. Wilfred Ndidi, who last season Enzo would turn into prime Messi, I think he came into the changing room before every game, pulled a cracker, see what fell out, see what position he was playing. He was being moved around the pitch, so there was no cohesion. There was, they say there was no plan A. I don't think a plan B. I don't think we had a plan A, and that was the problem.
Yeah, that was a huge problem as well. I know your players got criticised after going away to Copenhagen for Christmas party of the weekend. What is your take on this? Because this was not very helpful. They flew after the 24 hours before Steve Cooper got the sack. What is your take on this? I know it was a pre-planned Christmas party, but should it not? This should have been handled better by the
Well,
players and the club.
should it look? I mean, funnily enough, I had an argument with Andy Townsend about this morning because Andy Townsend was saying exactly what you were saying, and I said, look, it was pre. They did not plan this. They'd ordered costumes. They do it every year. I think last year or the year before they went to Copenhagen again. They all went to superheroes. Look, I've worked in sales, and sales is very up and down. You can have a good year, you can have a bad year, and a Christmas party at the end of a bad year is probably more welcome than it is at the end of a good year. Because yes, it might not be a celebration, but it's a bonding session. The firm is still saying, "Well, thank you for your efforts, even though you didn't well." So this was planned in advance. Maybe Top needed to work out when he was going to sack Cooper, and maybe have done that a bit earlier. You know what I mean? But it wasn't their fault. What are they supposed to do? They can't have the Christmas party in December. They've got 6 games. Yes, the problem was that somebody held a sign up saying "I love you, Enzo," or "I miss you, Enzo." Was that a reference to the because they've got a player called Enzo who absolutely ran us ragged? So was that a joke to that? Whatever it wasn't even a Leicester player that held that up. It was somebody in the crowd because they're at a club or whatever that held that up, and somebody took a picture. You can't blame the players for that unless you want your players to be nuns. You cannot blame your players for that. And I think you'll be very hard pressed to find many Leicester fans that are critical of that party.
Absolutely as well. I'm just looking at Steve Cooper's what you put in the BBC fan view over last weekend.
Yeah,
24.43%, and you said you this is what you said. It's with how to keep it sort of survival. It's like the child catcher from Chitty Bang Bang. The
yeah,
evil are sniffing around and waiting
mm,
for this all to fall through the trap door.
yeah,
If this was a huge word for you guys because you got promoted back to the Premier League. The EFL has been chasing you with the financial fair play regulations. I know there's been issue with your sponsorship as well,
oh,
as well. So
yeah,
what is going on at the club generally with the financial stuff? Because you have to stay up this season to make sure you avoid the EFL giving you so many fines and
yeah,
transfer embargoes and vice versa next
yeah.
season.
But it's we had to get promoted. We dragged out the EFL sanctions, but yes, they are waiting for us. And if we get relegated this season, it could be another 10 seasons before we come back because we're going to have business plans, like you say, transfer embargoes. So we're not going to be able to just pop straight back up again. So we have to stay up. Now, look, we questioned the validity of who was actually going to fine us because there was a period, a no man's land, if you like, where neither of them were in charge. Now, is it our fault that the Premier League and the EFL, with them expensive solicitors and what have you, didn't realise that? We did nothing wrong. Yes, we did something wrong in the fact that we spent too much because we were trying. But look, Leeds, you know what it's like, spending money to chase your dream.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I
Sail
know.
too close to the sun. So
I
yes,
know.
that was wrong. We did that, but we we didn't do anything wrong in avoiding the rules. The solicitor came in, very good solicitor, DeMarco, as you know, and said, "Hang on, they weren't in the EFL, but they also technically weren't in the Premier League, so they can't charge you, and they can't charge you. What's going to?" And they had to admit that they were wrong. And I'm sure whoever wrote those rules was walking around with a very sore arse the next morning because he got that kicked so much. But look, we look if Everton had done that or Forest, and I don't agree with point docking at all. And I know there was, we were trying to sue Everton when we went down, and they
Yeah,
didn't, and
we,
all
we were
this.
part of that group who sued
Yeah,
Everton. Yeah,
but look, that was never going to happen. But if you can avoid this, and it's stupid that whoever gets relegated at the end of the season is decided by people that are sitting around a board table and not by the people that are out on the grass playing the game. And that is what annoys me.
Yeah,
And look, all most clubs these days in the top divisions anyway are owned by people with a lot of money, or they got investment with people for a lot of money. Is it Red Bull now that you've got on board?
yeah, as a minority stakeholders,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Now,
they don't have the final say like the
no, but
yeah,
look, they've got a bit of money, haven't they?
yeah,
But they can't put it in because of the financial tightropes of the EFL and
exactly.
yeah. So that's the ridiculous thing. There's no way you're going to go out of business, but there's no way you can spend the money that you've got, and that's the way that Leicester are with the sponsor. Oh my God, that is. I mean, when you actually sign up a gambling company, you're always a little bit worried anyway. But we needed a sponsor. We just managed to avoid PSR last time out because we'd sold Enzo. We got 10 million for Enzo. We got 30 million for KDH,
Yeah,
and we were 40 million black hole. So that very nicely filled that. Thank you very much. So we needed a sponsor. The top two offers we got were both from betting companies. So you got to look at them both.
yeah,
It's fraud that they're doing apparently, and it's illegal what they're doing. But when you actually sign the deal, yeah, you might do a little bit of due diligence, but you don't check out to see if they're one of the biggest, illicit gambling
yeah,
dens in Europe. Now, I actually wrote to BC Game, who are the sponsor there.
yeah,
I actually wrote to them about a week ago and said, "What the hell's going on?" Not expecting a reply, but got a reply off their head of PR
wow,
saying, "We've seen these rumours. Do not worry. It's all an administrative thing. Blah blah blah. We're honouring our responsibilities." And I thought, okay, they've replied. Brilliant. They've obviously mustn't feel they've got anything to hide. If they had, they wouldn't have replied. It's now come out that this Joe Moore or Joss Moore, I think it is,
yeah,
have reported, and that they are one of the biggest illegal gambling networks in Europe.
wow,
Now, when anything is crypto, you've always got to go, well, hang on a second. But look, we needed the money. I mean, it won't have affected the last PSR
no,
because it didn't come into effect this until the new season. But it will leave us a black hole if we haven't got any money up front. And the thing is, with companies like this, and I had, Kevin Maguire.
yeah, Kevin McGuire,
Yes.
good,
Yeah.
good finance, football finance expert,
Oh,
really
he
good.
knows his stuff. Yeah. And I had him on last night, yesterday afternoon, because he was
Yeah,
going off to watch Brighton, as he's a Brighton fan. And I had him on, and I was talking to him about this. And he said what BC Game as a company want is they don't necessarily want you and me to have a gamble. Well, they do, obviously, but the main thing that they want is recognition, and sponsoring what is one of the biggest sports things around at the moment, the Premier League, sponsoring a Premier League team, they get this name on the TV every week, even if it's only highlights on the BBC.
yeah,
It's all over. So, it'd be in the programme, and they're an Asian company, although they're registered in Curaçao, which was the Netherlands Antilles or something.
yeah,
But they're an Asian company. And what they're after is the Asian market. Leicester has got obviously one of the biggest Asian population. We're a multicultural city. We're probably the biggest multicultural city.
pretty
Well,
much, yeah, yeah.
it's certainly in the top five
Top
anyway.
five, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that because I've
in,
been to
in
Leicester.
England.
Yeah,
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 in England. And you look at our support, and that is totally multicultural, quite rightly so. So of course Leicester was a perfect fit for them. It's like when smoking used to sponsor Formula One
yeah.
and the snooker and what have you, and in 2 years' time we won't be able to. But look,
Because
we're
we
not.
know how many bands going to come on the shirts in the next 2 years. Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah. So it will be interesting to see the next game that we turn up without a sponsor on the front. What will it be? If we're struggling, King Power can jump in because they
yeah,
did last year. But obviously, what they can't do is give us the sort of money that BC Game are giving us.
No.
So it all depends. I mean, we can't be done for. We know we're not done. We haven't done anything illegal. Again, it's just bad publicity. But the company that we're associated is doing something allegedly illegal. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know whether they've had to pay so much up front. It's a 2-year deal. What we've paid, and it's like fine. When somebody buys a football club, due diligence is done, and yet you've still got people the likes taking over Derby, taking over Reading, and companies, places like that. So they sneak through, and it's the same if you're looking at a sponsor. And I know you're not delving as deep for the sponsor. That's the thing. So look, who knows? Who knows? We will wait and see. But look, we've got Ruud van Nistelrooy. It doesn't matter. We're happy.
I know, absolutely. Listen. I think it's a fantastic appointment. I think it's the right manager need. I'm hoping his sponsorship gets sorted out. Or do we do Red Bull, because Red Bull sponsor is now the drink sponsor for your club as well, along with Newcastle. Why do you not get Red Bull to sponsor you next season? Just that we both got clashes and just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What? You mean for Leeds? Do you mean?
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
got the Red Bull sponsor because we got them
Yeah.
as ownership, but
Yeah.
they are sponsoring you, Newcastle, as a drink sponsor. So they're tapping into the Premier League clubs already.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, we've got a big deal with Chang Beer,
you do. Yeah,
which is I believe that's Indian. But as I was saying to Kevin yesterday, you've got to be careful because, of course, with this betting thing, they can still sponsor you. They can have the shirt sponsor, the
yeah.
sleeve sponsor. They'll still have little concessions in the concourses and what have you. So it's only on the front that it's disappearing. But if you have, all right, Red Bull's not alcoholic, but if you were to have, like we used to have Iron Coupe on the front of ours, is that then encouraging alcoholism? We used to have Walker's Crisps. Is that encouraging obesity? I mean,
Yeah.
where do you end these days
Where do
with
you draw the line? Yeah,
this? Yeah. Look, I get it, but it would be lovely to have a good sponsor. Look, Chelsea are struggling, aren't they? You know what I mean?
well,
So,
Chelsea's sponsorship policy is if they have this one new policy when if they meet the expectations of getting to the Champions League, they can get sponsored. But if they're not in any of the
yeah.
other competitions, there's no sponsors. So they got no sponsor this season, and I don't think they will till next season. They want to get back in the Champions
And
League.
probably not. Probably not. And look, I can remember West Ham. They had a Excel, was it?
Yeah,
It was a holiday company. Sounded like a porn site, but it was a
it does
holiday company.
actually.
Yes. I've been told. I don't know, of course, but that went bust. So they had to have the numbers on the front of the
I
shirt.
know that was a bit weird with the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So look, these things happen. Unfortunately, they always seem to happen to Leicester, and it's all happened at the same time. But look, being a Premier League club, we can't obviously demand the amounts that Chelsea are demanding. So somebody may step in if that happens. I don't know. Like I say, watch the matches and see what the first game we turn up without BC Game on. This shirt might actually be worth something.
it might be. Yeah.
I won't put my shirt on it though. Hey,
Absolutely. How are you going to get the game today at Brentford? It's a huge game. Your record against Brentford is quite good actually, really decently well. So, how do you go into today's game against Thomas Frank?
it's going to be interesting because Ruud van Nistelrooy is not taking. He's not in the dugout. It's Ben Dawson who was the third one down, but he wasn't sacked. Cooper and his assistants were, but he'll be there. He'll be in the stadium. So you're going to have a crowd that's really going to be up to it. Rude is a blue and, Nistelrooy's a fox and all this sort of thing. So the crowd, and away fans always make a lot more noise than home fans.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So that's going to be a great atmosphere. What incentive do the players need? None. All Ben Dawson's got to go out into that dressing room before and say, you know what you're doing, you've been doing this, whichever team he picks or whatever. You're all professionals. Watching you out there is your new manager. this is the first time he's going to see you, apart from obviously we played you twice recently, but apart from when we played Man United twice, I mean, but it's the first time he's going to see you and really concentrate on you. You better do a good job because that's going to be his first impressions. And if you go out there and don't turn up, and I think they will, because they're going to. They're going to want to, give. And I've seen some games this season when they've been stood around as if it's like, what am I supposed to be doing? Where do you want me to go? It's like they don't know what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm,
So anything has got to be. It's like that old saying: "Be careful what you wish for." And if you're going to replace a manager, replace him with somebody better. Nobody could be worse than Cooper. It was just awful. And if the players can't get up for this one, then they need. I'll go and drive them out the club. Do you know what I mean? There's something wrong with them if they can't get up for it. I thought it was. I was hoping for a draw beforehand because they're having a bit of a niffy season. Brentford won 5, lost 5, scored
yeah.
22, conceded 22. But now that we've got Van Nistelrooy in, although he's not the manager yet, he's there. And don't forget, that's what happened with Brendan Rodgers. When he took over, I think it was Brighton we played, he was sat in the stands, but the effect he had on the whole team, and I think he may have even nipped down to the dressing room. I don't
I
know.
did remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And so I think we might nick something here. The problem is Brentford are very good at home.
yeah.
They've got the best home record of any team, including the Big Six. So that is the problem. But could be that new manager bounce.
We're hopeful to see as well. Especially he's going to be look at especially Jamie Vardy who took his record away. That's going to be interesting. For him scoring 11 goals,
Yeah.
in
The
consecutive
interesting
games.
thing is though that Rude's mentioned that, and he says, "I want to work with. I'm looking forward to working with Jamie Vardy." Enzo said, even at 37, 38, Jamie Vardy wants to learn. He wants to try new things and develop his game.
Yeah,
And the interesting thing, what the main interesting thing is that Ruud van Nistelrooy said Roger. Then Ruud van Nistelrooy rang Enzo before he accepted the job because they used to be teammates.
yes, I forgot they
And
were.
he rang
Yeah,
Enzo and said, "Excuse me," and said, "What do you think?" And Enzo gave us a glowing report. So thank you, Enzo, for that. Because he could have said, could have been horrible and said, "Look, they don't tell you anything. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes financially." But no, it gave us a glowing report, which is why I believe he's come to us.
I'm not surprised as well. I think I don't know what I put in that predictions because my predictions this year has been shit.
Let me put it this way: you've gone down the league a little bit, haven't you?
I know that. I know I've got down the legal a little bit, okay? I know I have, all right? And listen, Anthony Herbert mocked me about that last week when I was on the show last week. And I know getting mocked from you about it. So
Hey,
technically,
I can't mock anybody. I've been bottom since week 1.
I know that is a good point, actually. You have been, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
so I'm the last one to mock anybody. Although I have started the week with 3 points from last night.
Yeah, you have, actually, because I think everyone else, yeah,
Yeah,
including myself, got our predictions quite wrong with that one.
yeah. I just somehow went for a 1-1. I just had a feeling because see that's the other thing as well. You see, Southampton have been playing really well.
They have.
They nearly got something off Liverpool. They should have beaten us. They were,
They should have won
they shot
yesterday.
themselves in the foot. Wolves are getting better.
I
They
know.
got past their hard, difficult start, so they still 4 past Fulham, and Ipswich beat Tottenham. Got a draw last week with Man United.
Mm,
They're starting to play well, but we weren't improving, and that was the thing. The teams below us were getting better.
yeah.
And if he hadn't acted when he did, I think there's teams out there, possibly Southampton, Crystal Palace, Everton, West Ham, who could all be changing the manager
Yeah.
before the end of the year. I'm sure. All right, Everton could go for Moyes, etc. I don't know.
I think that could really happen if the Frigston group comes in before
Hmm.
January. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's could very well happen. Don't think he'll go back to West Ham a third time.
No,
But
no.
But at least two of those clubs could have been after Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
I think Ruud van Nistelrooy knew Bielsa as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He knew Bielsa as well, so there was he gained that information where he could have. Yeah,
Mm.
it's interesting.
Where did he know him from?
I'm trying to think because I know Van Nistelrooy. I think Bielsa was already in Spain when he was at Athletic Bilbao, and Van Nistelrooy was still there when he was playing for Malaga. So they have been on talking terms for good quite a bit.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and that's
Um,
the only way I can think of where. Yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
Bielsa. Yeah,
How are you? How are you feeling about yours? I'll be honest with you, mate. I haven't looked at the championship at all, so I don't know how you are doing.
we are
I
third
presume
at
you're
the
still the
moment.
best team in the championship.
Well, I'm going to give him a point. I think we look more better as a team than we
Yeah,
were individuals last season. That's what
yeah,
cost us. Wait a second. Wait a second. That's what cost us that the
yeah,
finish running away with the league. You lot picked us and we lost in the playoff final to Southampton. I think we look more better as a team. I think looking at now, yes, we're not be playing the best football, but sometimes counter attack is more better for us as a team because we take the chances. It was a good 3-0 win against Luton, a really good win. We needed that to, because Sheffield United beat Sunderland yesterday, and very surprising that both teams were turned up. I thought Sunderland had a better chance, but Sunderland's run in form the last 5 games before the loss was the draw of 5 games. So they've slowly, yeah, it's not going to be. When I speak to Michael tomorrow about that, because I know he was angry when in the group chat, so I will have to speak to him about it. But yeah, look, I think for what me and Michael have talked about is if Sunderland can keep close between us and Sheffield United and Burnley, there's a chance they'll go. January's gonna be interesting if they get closer. But
yeah,
like I said, they're now 5 points behind Sheffield United now, so and three behind, two behind us. So I think for us, I think as long as we keep winning the games, it's just our away forms just needs to be a bit better. Our away forms has been a bit iffy.
yeah.
But I think after the win against Swansea was a very calamitous game. I'm not gonna lie, winning 3-4, it was just it was all over the place.
You've just got to avoid the playoffs, haven't you?
That is what it is. It's avoiding the playoffs now. It's what it's huge for. It's avoiding the playoffs now completely now for our team because the playoffs has never been a good record for us. It,
No.
and usually, and this is a weird thing, when Liverpool's on top of the table, we get promoted.
Mm.
That's been a weird thing. That's been a
Really?
weird conundrum. So if Liverpool win the Premier League this season, we'll probably go as champions.
You were unlucky. I mean, all joking aside, there was a lot of banter going between the two teams last season, and that's what I love. You should be able to banter
Yeah,
and have a laugh, and that's what football's all about. Without
we as
getting
fans,
all.
we're not good with the banter with you. I know that. So yeah,
But no, you do. You have that banter, and just you just don't end up. Every team has its nutters. We know that. But look, you got over 90 points and you didn't go up. That's a weird season, though, isn't it?
it's a weird season. The strength of those teams that we had last season. I don't think it will be any close to 90, more than 90 points this season. I think it would be a lot less than that because of the teams that we've got. I think the Sheffield United situation, because of them starting with -2 points at the start of the season,
Hmm.
that might come into effect to see if they get closer to
Yeah.
promotion or not. So it is going to be interesting. But with Berlin winning more games recently, because yes, I know people have been frustrated with the Parker Ball situation, but they've been getting the wins anyway. So I think now we will see towards the Christmas period with huge gains for us because I think because we got Blackburn today away, which is important, and we've got Derby next weekend on next Saturday, the 12th kickoff. Then Middlesbrough, and then we go away to Preston. Uh, two home games against Oxford, and then two away games to Stoke and Derby around the Christmas period and New Year's period, and then back home to Blackburn on the 1st of January. So it's going to be interesting because lead up to the whole game because with them sacking Tim Volter, I feel like they're gonna appoint Mark Robbins. I feel like that's going to happen.
Who's that? Sorry.
Hull did sack Tim Volter at the
Oh,
end because after the sacked Liam Senior,
hmm.
Hull have not been the same team. They're down in the relegation zone. So I feel like Mark Robbins could go to East to Hull.
I still can't get. All right, look. I mean, as a outside fan looking in at different clubs. But
Yeah.
after everything that Mark Robbins has done for Coventry, he's allowed surely one season where I don't think they would have gone down, but they were struggling. But he was that close to getting into an FA Cup final,
Yeah.
that close to getting into the Premier League. Honestly, you wonder sometimes, don't you? But
You wondered completely because yes, Coventry have always been slow starters. That's been their
hmm,
record, but they've always finished strongly. But I think the new chairman, owner Doug King, was a bit unsure about that, so he
hmm.
made the biggest gamble to bring in Frank Lampard, who's in the last chance saloon.
No,
In
I'm sorry. Well done, Coventry. You took one for the league. You know,
I know, he took one for the league, all right.
there's rumours that I'd heard. I don't know if this is true. That Steve Cooper could be one of the favourites to go to Hull.
It would not be surprised with those two names, with Robbins and Steve Cooper being linked to those jobs. I think Hull are in serious trouble. I think going down the foreign route, manager route, has not worked after what happened to Liam Rosina. Liam Rosina is doing well in Europe as well.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he
Doing
was
quite
doing
well.
well for Hull, wasn't he? Really.
Yeah, he was perfect fit for Hull. Yes, they
Mm,
missed out on the playoffs, but I think he could have built on despite the loss. They lost some good players, that went to Premier League clubs, and I think the recruitment is not being good for Hull this season, and that played a huge part. And even Tim Volter actually, after the 1-1 draw against Portsmouth, he actually asked the frustrated fans to come watch him in the training
mm.
session, and that did not make a huge difference at all. It did appease the fans completely. So.
I mean, Coventry are sat in 17th now, but having said that, they're only 2 points off the bottom three. So,
Yeah,
I do miss the championship. You had we had decent referees. Those that hadn't come down from the Premier League.
yeah, that's fair
You
play.
know,
Yeah,
you scored a goal. You looked at the assistant referee. If his flag was down, you celebrated.
yeah.
The referees, yes, they made mistakes, but you accepted it because it was a human error if they did, and you know that you'd probably get one at some point in the season as well. I just think the whole. I mean, I know Dan from Burnley said when we came out, it was proper football last season.
It was proper football last season. Huge proper football last season. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't
But
know.
you confident? You think you'll make top two?
I think we will do. I
Hmm.
think we will. I think the Parker ball will come to badly effect for Burnley fans because they have been warned by Fulham,
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
yeah.
Yeah, so they've been warned about that
Well, of
one.
course, you do know Burnley were after Cooper.
They were, yeah,
And they made him an offer, and he turned them down because he wanted to stay in the Premier League. And
yeah, and then they went to try
we
to
were
get Van,
talking to him.
yeah, they tried to get Van Nistelrooy. He went to Premier League with Ten Hag. Yeah,
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, it's difficult. I, I don't know. We would just seem to we just go for every manager that Burnley can't get at the moment.
I know, because the only manager I could think of, felt who was going to come to you guys, and I wish he did, was Carlos Corberan at West Brom, because I think there's a point he needs to be a Premier League manager where he
Yes.
just, yes, I know he's got a huge release clause, but West Brom have not been doing well in the league the last,
No.
no,
I think the thing with Carlos Corberan was he was very heavily linked, like when Enzo left.
yeah,
Um, I think we were always going to go because what we all said was that what we didn't want was another Rodgers situation where it
mm,
was just dragging on and dragging on. Now it took 3 weeks to replace Enzo, and that was during the off season.
yeah,
It took 5 days to replace Cooper. So they were in talks with somebody during that international break. Those 2 weeks,
yeah,
they were talking to Rude. I don't care what anybody says. You do not do something like that in 5 days. No way.
no,
Um, but so they were talking to them. The thing was that we couldn't afford to leave it. We had to get somebody in quickly. Now, if you're West Brom, you might say, well, there's let's say a £4 million release clause. And Leicester might say, well, we'll give you two. And they'll say, no, we want four. Well, what about if we give you three? No, we want four. How desperate are you for our
yeah,
manager? And that would be the thing. West Brom know they could drag it out to get the better money. They could even say, look, give us five and you can have him tomorrow. So having somebody who was out of work gets Ruud van Nistelrooy in. He watches this game. He's then got 6 games of his own. to assess the players before the January transfer window starts. So Topper's acted really quickly this time, and I think he's done it the right way. And whilst I wouldn't have been disappointed, and I would have been quite excited with Corberon, I think it would have just dragged out too long.
Yeah, I think it would have been as well too because I know West Brom would play hard ball because of the contract extension, and I think his release clause is more than 4 million for what I've heard. So it is a huge to get him out that deal to come to I
Yeah.
think it sees where West Brom is going to be at the end of the season. I think he will be a target for one or two Premier League clubs probably next
I
summer.
think so. I think so. And he deserves his chance, probably. But with Rude, look, it's who he is. That's why we're excited. We were excited with Enzo, not on his fantastic 12-game stint at Parma or wherever it was in Italy. It was his, he'd been sprinkled with pep dust, hadn't he?
Yeah,
He'd just been holding the Champions League trophy. That's right. It's the same with Ruud van Nistelrooy. But he has had more managerial experience than Enzo had when Enzo took us over. He's had a couple of seasons. Well, I was watching an interview with him earlier, and he'd worked his way through the P. It's been 10 years since he retired. Can you believe?
yeah, I know. I
You
did
know,
think I kept thinking it was less than that, but
yeah,
10 years, yeah,
and during that time, PSV, which is half an hour's drive from where he lives, so it's his local club, and he was in with the under-17s, and he'd worked his way up, and obviously became manager, won the cup. So he's done his stint, if you like, in the managerial side. Possibly, say, a bit more than Enzo. So it's Ruud van Nistelrooy. That's why we're excited.
hey, that name's all over the place. It's exciting. Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
surprise at all. So, you know what? I think this is it's a good appointment, and I think hopefully you guys stay up. But like I said, since you guys got promoted, you guys have social lives like Ant. We can't even I got Ant on the show the last 2 weeks on the championship review, and I've been really trying to get one during the season. It's like you lot got social life. You lot didn't have a social life when you were in the championship.
No, no. And when I'm sort of retired, so I'm of that
Hey,
age.
and I'm retired as well too now, so that makes two of us. But at
Yeah.
least I still have I still do this while I still have a bit of social life at the
What,
same
what,
time.
what is a social life?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I
Yeah,
certainly this last week I have not had a social life at all. But look, hey, it's football. That's why we love doing it, isn't it? Drives us mad at times, but we love it. But like I say, fingers crossed, we'll be playing you next season.
I hope so. But I think some of us in the championship group chat have made a bet that if Leeds, Sunderland, and even I think Bristol City have no chance now a little bit, but there's
No.
still hope. If you lot get promoted, you lot get relegated. We'll be on your channel. We'll be like, Ravy, say hi, how you doing?
I'm sure you will. I'm sure
Yeah,
you will.
but I'm hopeful you do stay up. But I haven't. But like I said, we'll see how it goes in the course of the season now with the teams and with the bottom of start to be winning, getting some results. So yeah,
But then again, whichever three teams go up, they're always going to be the favourites to go back down again. Now,
that is and I agree with that as well too. I just think maybe look if we were up last season, we still would have gone down because I think we still had a players nicked a bit because
do
of
you go if you go up? Do you? Because you've still got Daniel Farke, haven't you?
yeah.
If you go up, does he go because he hasn't got a good record of keeping teams in the Premier League?
I don't think he will go. I don't think so at the moment. Not with the ownership, because at the moment with his record, I know his record. People criticize his playing style, but his record, his points per game is quite good, better than Bielsa's and all the other past managers. So I
Right,
think
right.
there's a chance he will sign a contract extension. But I
He's got to
think
be, got to be given a chance, hasn't he? At
he has
least.
to be given a chance. I
Yeah.
think Leeds is the right club. Listen, I know the football is not being sexy. I can accept that, but it gets us results. Football's not always being sexy and gets results. It's results business. You have to get results one way or
A
the other.
100%, 100%, 100%. And it's you speak to West Ham fans and he's not playing football the West Ham way, David Moyes. Nobody won you a bloody European trophy, so
I
it doesn't
know.
matter. But it's all about winning. That's the thing. At the end, if you win 1-0 and you win ugly, you're just as happy as if you win 3-0 playing the beautiful game.
Actually, I do have a question for you from Derek. Actually, what is Leicester lacking? Is it offense or defensive players?
it was lacking a plan A, if anything. We were talking, funnily enough, we've done one or two shows since Rude got appointed. We're talking about what his priorities would be, and the defence is one of them. When you look at the players we've got a Coley who will be coming. He's a new signing. He's young. He will become good. You can see there's a good player in there, but he's still learning at the moment. Vout he's got a mistake in him. Every game, you know that he's going to cost us a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vestergaard, great defender. Despite everything we said about him, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, but he's got the turning circle of the Titanic. He's got, the speed of me in a wheelchair. So that's his downfall. So we've got I liked Suter, but he's out on loan, obviously, at
He should
Sheffield
not have
United.
been gone on loan. I know he played 3 games for you guys last season, which is a bit shameful because Enzo did favour him. But he looks good at Sheffield United, and I think he might. There's a chance you lose him permanently.
I know, but you have to go with the manager at the time, and I mean, this is the thing with, like I said, however we complain about all the players, they're all getting a clean sheet now because they're all going to start again under Rude, and with Vestergaard, everybody hated him. Enzo turned him into prime time, City, Messi. Up front, Vardy obviously still number one. Daka, he still couldn't score in a brothel if there was a 2-for-1 offer. And then you've got Ayew, who is good, but he's not a 90-minute play. He's one of those that comes on at the last minute, holds the game up, gets you some free kicks, breaks the tacks down, and gets the odd, lovely goal in the 95th minute. And then you've got Dakova Reed. We got him on a free, and that was too much. And then we've got Edward, who we got from Palace, who basically he's done a very good job of keeping the bench warm because that's all he's done. So the attack needs looking at. Again, you look at Tom Cannon doing it at Stoke. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, he's a championship player, blah, 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 But the thing is, he's young. And the thing you get with youngsters, you don't have a fear.
No.
Daka's got the speed that Vardy's got, but as I say, he couldn't finish anything off if you tried. He couldn't finish a cake off if he'd not eaten for a year. He's absolutely, his confidence is shot. Rude might get the best out of him, but that's an area that midfield we're probably all right for. To be honest with you, Fataru's out obviously all season injured.
That was a huge blow when he went
Yeah,
out.
it was. He was superb last season, but Cooper wasn't really using him that much, and he's got to adapt to the Premier League. But we've got Buenete on Brighton, who is, they say, never fall in love with a lone player. Well, I'm sorry, we're head over heels.
Yeah, you are.
Guy is absolutely brilliant. And we've got El Canoes who we bought in for 20 million, who can also do that role, who I think would be the understudy to Brunette. So when Brunette goes back to Brighton, he'll step up. Have the season to get ready. So, yeah, the midfield's okay, but it is the defence and it is also the up front. Hopefully they'll send Edward back and possibly bring Cannon back. Or get somebody else in because he's only on loan, Edward, so he can go back. But if Palace, who are, let's be honest, if Palace are second from bottom, if they don't need Edward, what the hell is he going to do for us?
I know, and like I said, Palace need the goals up front because when they're on a form at the moment, it's been terrible. And I got Newcastle today, and I do worry that they're not going to get something out of Newcastle today at home.
What did I go for Newcastle?
I went 3-1 for Newcastle. I went for 3-1 for Newcastle.
I went 2-1 for Newcastle.
Yeah.
So I think no, but well, Brad went 1-1, which is probably why he's dropping down the league very, very fast.
Yeah.
Well, but I fear for Palace, to be honest with you. I really do.
I do as well too. I really do because I thought after the running form last season they finished strongly. I thought they were going to carry on. I think it's just when had it's that I think it's probably the England and the Olympic effect of the players that they played in the squad in the tournaments. I've just affected them that cohesion at the moment for them, and I just worry about that. You know,
They
with
lost a couple of players as well, didn't they? And
yeah,
Gay
and
been
yes,
injured. But
they did the right thing to keep Matt Gouet from
yeah,
Newcastle, but I think he could have gone because he would have made a difference to the party to find another defender similar to him. But I think, like I said, the transfer window in January is going to be huge for them
yeah.
if they keep Oliver Glasner in charge by the end by New Year's. That's going to be a huge question. So
I tell you what, it's tight at the bottom.
very
It really, really is. I have to say, Southampton, I think, look doomed.
yeah,
They have been playing well, though, so I've got to give them credit for that.
but they
But
are doomed.
they're on minus 15, and that's like a point. Minus 15, Wolves and ourselves and Everton, minus 7, minus 8. Palace, in fairness, are only minus 7. But I think it could be Southampton and Palace, and then any one of the next 6.
Yeah. I have a feeling that Ipswich might stay up this season. I don't know why. I even said I wanted to go down, but now it's slowly changed. My head's turning a little bit now.
I hope they do. Obviously, I don't want them to stay up at our expense.
No, exactly. I don't.
I
Yeah, yeah,
hope they go up because it's the story, isn't it? Is the fact that to me, there's clubs that, and I still don't think we're not a big club, even though after what we've done, we're not a big club, and we fit into that same bracket as, if you like Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa, where and Luton when they came up. You want these clubs to do well because it's the. I mean, Bournemouth are doing brilliant this season, and that's great. Not just because I live here. It's again that smaller club doing well. I love that. I love it. And Bournemouth beat Man City, beat Arsenal. All the power to them. So I hope Ipswich do stay up.
I hope so as well too. It's just that it's so tight. I don't know because Wolves have been in good form the way they've been on the and he was going to be going. It's
Yeah.
so hard to predict which one is going to go down. And if Everton do make that managerial change with the new ownership, I think they will both to stay and be off beyond. Yeah, it's going
Mm.
to be a hard one to decide.
I think West Ham could be dragged into it.
Yeah, I know West Ham are about 4 or 5 points ahead of the other clubs, but
Mm.
you're probably right because it's just like it's a team of individuals at the moment where they still when after Moyes is gone, and that's
Well,
been
they've
the
got,
issue.
they've got Arsenal today.
Oh God, yeah,
Or tomorrow, sorry. They've got Arsenal. No,
today,
today, 5:30 today, haven't they? Yeah. So that's going to be difficult for them. And then they've got us on Tuesday, which is at Leicester. Nisselroy's first game in charge, first game in front of the home fans. That's a 6-pointer for both of us.
yeah, it is. I know even the midweek games are huge as well too because
Mm.
because we did have to put that in. I think the huge game for the midweek is for the bottom side is Ipswich Crystal Palace. That
Yeah,
is going those two teams need to get a win, and I
yeah.
put Palace to win for some reason to get a result because I put Crystal Palace to win. Yeah.
What? Really?
Yes.
Are you all right?
I'm all right. Of course, I'm all right. Listen, I've not been drinking. Okay, I've not been drinking, which has been quite good for me because I have done quite well with that. Just yeah, it was just good for my mind. But listen,
I need to put mine in because I haven't put mine in yet. But I will look at everything you predicted and go completely the opposite, Carl.
that's fine, and I'm happy with that. So the only thing you might want to take the leaf out, I put Everton and Wolves as a 0-0 draw. So
Um. Oh, is that the midweek one? Is it?
yeah,
Right.
but I did give your boys to win 3-0 against West Ham in the midweek. So I have given that. So I've done that for you. Okay.
Well, I'll take that one off you.
And I have given you guys to win against Brentford today to win 2-1 as well. So I have
Right.
been very bit more, yeah.
You have. You've been very generous. I've said that it won't have done you much good this season backing us, but there we
I
go.
know,
Yeah.
I know it isn't. I know. Oh, Chris, listen, thank you for joining me. You give you a depth as it is as a big Leicester fan. And listen, where can everyone find you? And I will put your social media on the description after this show as well.
Brilliant. Cheers. Well, you can find me basically there. Just type in LTID TV and it should bring us all up, including Blue Sky, which we're new on. If that doesn't work, Leicester Till I Die, stick that in and that will bring it up. And you'll find me.
Yeah, you're all over the place. You also you do your stuff on the BBC as well with your fan view. So please go on to Leicester's BBC Sports page, and you'll see Chris's view on the fan view as well, and he's also on the Talksport fan network as well too. So he's all over the place, Chris. Yeah.
I spread myself thinner than I can't believe it's not butter.
Chris, as a pleasure always. Thank you very much. Anyway, and
Thanks
I'll
for having me on, sir.
yeah catch you again sometime
Speak
soon.
to you soon. Take care. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
That was Chris from Listen Till I Die TV. Yes, good to hear him as well. And Derek, thank you. Carl, it's Leeds your first team. Yes, it's been my first team from day one. Born and bred as well. So born and bred. Even though I'm born in Huddersfield, but it's part of my DNA through my family. Even most of my family do support Huddersfield Town as well. So there's a mixture of both teams fans, but I am a Leeds through and through. So yes, I appreciate that. And Derek, thank you, thanks so much. Thank you, Chris. Maybe Fox still search that club, who knows? No, and listen, and it's good in giving his definite analysis on about Leicester's situation and where the club will go as well. So yeah, no, I think it was a good definite analysis to get his experience on Move Van Nistelrooy, the situation with the sponsorship, and the way the club, how where the club goes. So no, fair play to him as well. But you know what? Let's finish the show off on a high, and let's do actually the Premier League predictions. And I am going to start with Brentford against Leicester. I have given Leicester to win 2-1 later today as well. Doug is gone. He's gone for 2-0 for Brentford as well. For Chris Potts against Newcastle, I've gone for 3-1 to Newcastle. Doug's gone for 1-0 to Newcastle as well. Nottingham Forest get Ipswich. I've gone for 1-0 win for Nottingham Forest. Doug's gone for 2-1 for Nottingham Forest to win. Wolves against Bournemouth. Doug's gone for 2-0 win against Bournemouth. I've gone for 2-1 win for Wolves. We're both gone for Arsenal to win. I've gone 2-0, and Doug has gone 2-0 as well. So a full house. Let's see on Sunday's games. Chelsea to win against 2-1 against Aston Villa. That's what Doug's prediction is. I've gone for a 3-2 win for Chelsea as well. Man United against Everton. I think Man United's going to win 2-0 for the Red Devils. And Doug's gone for 3-0 for Man United to win as well. Spurs against Fulham. Fulham to win 2-1 for what Doug said. And seeing here, I've gone for a 2-2 draw as well. And it's the big game on Sunday. Liverpool against Man City. As I was explaining this to my sister, because my nephew is, well, he has been scouted by Man City once a few times, but I had to explain to why Man City's fall down the season was more than than just the results. So I had to explain that to her. But I've gone for Liverpool to win 3-1. I think Doug has gone for the same as well too, to win 3-1 as well. So yeah, I think Man City will be out of the title race after tomorrow's game. Right, the midweek games. I have gone for Crystal Palace to win 2-1 against Ipswich as well. Doug's gone for 1-0 win for Ipswich, 2-0 win for Ipswich. We both he's gone for 2-1 for West Ham to win at Leicester on Tuesday. I've gone for a 3-0 win for Leicester against West Ham next week. 0-0 between Everton and Wolves. That's how I go with my predictions. Doug is gone to see here a 2-0 win for Wolves this coming midweek game. I've gone for a 1-1 draw between Man City and Nottingham Forest. I think Nottingham Forest could get a good point out this weekend as well. I think Doug has gone for 2-0 win for Man City. Newcastle against Liverpool. We've both gone for 2-1 win to Liverpool. I think it's going to be a good game between Newcastle and Liverpool. It always is, but I think Liverpool edges 2-1. We've both gone for full house between Southampton and Chelsea. We've both gone for we both go for Chelsea to win. He's gone for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. I've gone for a 3-0 win for Chelsea at Southampton. Arsenal against Man United. I think this is going to be a good draw for both of these teams, a 1-1 draw. But Doug has gone for a 2-0 win for Arsenal to win against Manchester United. Aston Villa against Brentford. A 2-2 draw. I've gone for Doug's gone for a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. Fulham against Brighton. I think Brighton could go away, get a win at Fulham 3-1. I've given my score prediction, and Doug's gone for 2-1 for Fulham. We've both gone opposite ways. Bournemouth against Spurs. I've gone for a 4-1 win for Tottenham Hotspur. Doug's gone for a 2-0 win for Spurs as well. So, yes, but like I said, there's no lunchtime kickoff as well, but that is the end of the show as well. How is the Leeds crowd and community? Okay, that's a good question. A very huge community club. Derek. It is a one club city, a very huge one club city. The crowd can be both ways. They can be welcome if you're part of the Leeds faithful. But if you say like a if you could say like a I don't know, let's say if you're a Millwall, let's say a rival fan, like a Manchester United fan or a Millwall fan or not Derby fan, we are hostile to them. So because of our history of hooliganism with some of these clubs. So an elite stadium is welcoming because it's hostile to intimidate the teams because of the fans on your back completely. It is one of the best atmosphere stadiums in England. It really is. I beat if very hostile indeed. So I would say yeah, no, Leeds it's Leeds both did wear Man United. Yeah, trust me, you don't want to wear a Man United shirt in Leeds. And there's a thing with history with us Leeds fans. If someone has like a red shirt on, even though it doesn't have Manchester United logos or whatever, they will always think you're a Man United fan, even though it's linked to Liverpool as well. That's why there's always been history that's what I know. There was a lot of issues with the club this season. Some of the Leeds United fans were not happy with the new home shirt, which has the Red Bull logo with the red skin patches on it. So that's why a lot of Leeds fans bought the away shirt, which is yellow, which doesn't have any red color on it. So yeah, so you know now if there's rumors there's a reason why all of our bus in Leeds we have bus stops in the most parts of the West Yorkshire region. We have all the bus stops that's painted red. Not in Leeds though, because of that it could be done it could happen with vandalism. They had to paint it to silver color to not match it red because it could cause tension. So that's what the history of the club is with red with us playing against a red team. If it's Man United, that's a big concern. So yeah, that's all I can say with that one. But we are welcoming fans as long as we have certain fraction of fans who are very hardcore, who are more. But listen, we are one big city club, and it's part of our culture, it's part of our DNA. Um, it, it's the bit everyone talks about all over the city. If you go around in the city centre of Leeds, we have a shop. There's a shopping centre that is yeah, that has a street that is named after Marcel Bielsa, which is links to the shopping centre as well. So and we have so it's a huge club as well, and they are serious. Yeah, they are. We are serious. So yeah, absolutely indeed as well. But listen, I'd like to thank everyone for commenting in as well. Derek, you've been a pleasure. Anthony as well. Good to have Chris from Leicester Till I Die coming on as well. I will put his social media stuff on in the description after the show as well. But I am going to finish off after being on for an hour and a half. And like I said, there's no lunchtime games except for the games in the Championship and also in League Two. So all of you have a good weekend. But if you missed the show, please watch us again here live on YouTube as well. If you want to follow my social media, it's just right. It's just right here. Just right here. I'm at Carl Edwards. Leave it at bsky.social and the LF Football Pod as well. Below that as well. Listen, you try to find a club that's racially targeted. You're welcome. There, listen. All clubs are going to have those elements of the racially targeted. It's always had issues because of racism in football in English football back in the days. But like I say, I always find a club that is very inclusive and have you to one side. And as long as you don't pick Chelsea, that's all right. If you don't pick Chelsea, then you and I don't have problems yet. So yeah, but I'd like to thank everyone for watching it as well, and yeah, follow us on social media as well. And if you like this show, we are now at 80 subscribers on this channel. Thank you for people subscribing on here as well. Please subscribe to continue subscribing to this channel, or hit that notification bell on our channel for any upcoming content. But I am back tomorrow night with Michael, hopefully Annie as well. I know Annie. I think what I have found out that Annie, who is Bristol fan, when the team loses, he doesn't come on. So his team loses, he doesn't come on. So hopefully we'll have him back on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock live here on the Totally Leaving Home Football podcast. But I might be back here on Monday night to give my review of the third round FA Cup draw. Only a brief one of the FA Cup draw. Might be a recorded broadcast, but as I said, I'll be back here live next Saturday here at 11 a.m. to do the usual daily does of the Saturday show. But thank you guys for your time, and thank you for everyone for messaging. I will see you guys at the same time next week. But if you want to watch this tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, please on this channel, please join us as well. Have a good weekend. Take care for now. Bye bye.